It's time to face the truth with Jason Hendrickson. Facing the truth can be hard, but it's necessary. Now face the truth with Jason Hendrickson on Faith Expression Gospel Radio.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Face the Truth here on the Faith Expression Gospel Radio Network. We're so excited to be here for our second show. And we are excited about our guest that's going to be joining us in just a few seconds. Come on in, everybody. Big shout out to everybody in Radio Land. I want to thank God for all of our friends that are tuning in via Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. It is an amazing thing. I'm so honored to be a part of the Faith Expressions Gospel Radio family, and we have a tremendous show this afternoon, and we're going to be talking with my brother, one of my favorite preachers of all time, Bishop Darius Nixon. He'll be joining us in just a few seconds. Listen, so you guys know what this is. This is a brand new show that I have called Face the Truth that is being broadcasted on the Faith Expression Gospel Network. It is a show that airs every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're able to do it right here on Facebook Live, and so that everybody can be a part and we can do the show wherever we are. It is a talk show, but we also do play music. So if you guys have some music that you would love to submit, or you have, especially to all the preachers that are listening, if you would love to bring your ministry to another level to expand the brand and expand your audience, we are allowing people to submit sermons here on Faith Expressions, and we're going to, make sure that the content is what it needs to be, but we are going to be airing people's messages here on Faith Expressions. And so if you're interested, guys, hit me up and I'll give you the information on how you can submit your messages. And we are so honored to be on the air with other gospel legends such as Doug Williams, Dottie Peoples, Dorinda Clark. They all have shows here on Faith Expression. So this is something new. Technology is amazing, guys. It's amazing that we can do this interview right here on Facebook Live and snatch the audio and take it to the world. So thank you guys for tuning in. I have some announcements that we want to give you right before Bishop Nixon comes on. We want to announce that All Things Apparel, which is our clothing line, we have signed our first artist that we are giving another apparel line to, and that is none other than Dre Rumble. Dre Rumble has a brand new clothing line getting ready to come out called Rumble Wear, which will be under the umbrella of All Things Apparel. So we are so excited for this young man, and right here on this show, we were able to get 2 radio sponsors for Andre just from us talking live on the air, and they're going to help promote it. They're going to help push it, and I think it's amazing. I'm excited for my brother. He is an intricate part of what we do here at our church. He's not a member of our church. He is a member of the Mount Olive Church of God in Christ, Church of God, but he is faithful. He's a part of our musical staff here, so it's an honor, and I honestly believe it's my duty to push this young man and help him get his apparel line started. So we're excited about that. I want you to look out for it. Rumblewear. He got some sick t-shirts. The first t-shirt is so hot. I was going to rock one today, but I didn't want to jump the gun. But I'm excited to see what God is going to do for Rumblewear. Yeah, the shirts are crazy. So we got that happening. And of course, you guys know Andre has a brand new single coming out the 2nd of July, I think. July 2nd, I believe that's when it's coming out. So we want you guys to make sure that you're ready. And I want everybody to welcome my brother and the preaching machine himself, Bishop Darius Jamel Nixon. We're adding him right now as we speak.
Yes, sir. I can hear you. Can
Yeah,
you hear me good?
yeah. So everybody, please put. Let's get excited. We want to thank God for our special guest today. Bishop Darius Nixon is here with us on the Faith Expression Gospel Radio Show, and I'm going to get right into it, Bishop, because I know you're busy. But I said it privately, and I want to say it publicly now that you are one of the premier preachers of our generation. And I want to publicly thank you for the integrity that you present in your preaching, because it challenges all of us that hear you to study more, to stay on our face before God.
I appreciate that, Pastor. I really appreciate that. I seriously I'm really dedicated to doing what I do for God, and just carrying out this assignment. There's nothing that I love more than the Lord's church. There's nothing that I love more than preaching the Lord's gospel. And any way that I can present it, and present it in such a way that it blesses the hearts of people near and far, then my job is complete. It's not about, to me, it's not about being famous or even having the wonderful accolades that you have bestowed upon me today. To me, it's about souls being blessed and added to the church. We're
Right.
not perfect, but we're striving every day to really get this together. And because outside of preaching, I'm really just trying to make heaven.
Right.
I'm trying to live. I'm trying to live
Right.
so God can use me. But I appreciate your kind words, Pastor. You're always very kind, and I just appreciate it. I don't know about being a premier preacher, but I'm thankful that you have bestowed this
That's what you're
kindness upon
supposed
me
to say.
today.
But you can't say it, but I'll say it for you. You are. And and if Tim Clinton was online, he would say top 5. Well, Tim says you're number 1 in his book. So
Tim, Tim always
yeah.
Tim always says
But let's
that.
get
Tim
right to
always
it,
says
Bishop.
that.
You have one of the most powerful ministries that we've seen in a long time, and you just released your new single. Can you tell us about your new single?
Yes, sir. I want to be very honest with you when I say preaching is my thing. That's been my go-to. I come from a family line of ministry, both music and preaching wise, especially on my dad's side. And my dad was very heavy in the music ministry. And if anybody remembers, during a time,
Dunamis.
Jay
Oh
Nixon and
yes,
Dunamis,
I'm a witness.
I'm a
Yes, sir.
witness, he'll make it all right. And, they traveled the length and breadth, and they did a lot of great things. My dad is still to this day a very masterful songwriter and singer and composer and all of those things. But I didn't see the music ministry be kind to my dad. And I think, Pastor, that early on, when I witnessed how unkind the music industry was to him, it kind of turned me off from that area, although I was gifted in that area as well. Most people don't know that I have
Yes,
the gift of music, or didn't know, I should say, that I have the gift of music, not just singing or songwriting,
yes.
but also playing. And now I don't play anymore.
I've heard him play, y'all. He can actually really play. He can really
So don't
play.
ask me, and don't ask me, because I will never play again. That's
Right.
what I pay people for now. But when I witnessed the music ministry be unkind to him, I just devoted all of my attention and time to preaching, and so that's what I did. When I started my church, however, I just found songs just kept coming to me, kept it plagued me. It plagued me in my sleep. And I just started writing songs for my church only. And so that's what began to happen. Determined to Win was actually written 8 to 9 years ago. A good friend of mine and a mutual friend,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah, yeah.
Lindsey Williams, they have their church there, his father's church, St. John, out there in Far Rockaway. They were planning to do a recording at the time. And Lindsay knew that I was a songwriter. Lindsay knew what my capabilities were musically. And we shared a lot of time together, composing a lot of music together. And he said to me, Doc, can you write a song for my church choir? And I said, okay. And that's how Determined to Win was written. It was actually written for them. And when they never recorded it, eventually I started a church choir in our church. We just had a praise and worship team. And then I started the church choir, and I taught it to the church choir, and it just took on a life of its own. And I want to say the ending of last year, my musical director, Antoine Barrett, said to me, he said, Pastor, I think it's time. I think it's time. I think it's time. So I said, time for what? I thought you were going to tell me it's time for him to leave or something. You know, I didn't know what was happening. He said, nah, Bishop, it's time for us to record. It's time for us to record. Well, if you guys do the work, then, you know, I'll put out the funds for y'all to do it, and it can get done. So Determined to Win is really just the first single that we're releasing off of an entire project. It's a project of about 10 songs that I've penned, and our music ministry is ministering, and we're just really taking it to church. We're in an hour, Pastor, where I just feel that people need a message to really encourage them that, you know, winning is a choice. You know, you have to have a determination in order to win. Like, you're not gonna just wake up and win. Like, there has to be a grind attached. There has to be a press, a running. So that's really the premise of the song Determined to Win, and I'm really hoping that it catches. I'm really hoping that the people who have felt defeated are no longer defeated once they hear that tune.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, man, and this is what I want everybody to do. Everybody that's on here, can you guys hashtag for us? Hashtag D2W. Hashtag D2W. If you got the single, if you downloaded it, I want you to signify by hashtagging hashtag D2W. I was on my way here to the office to do the show, and I had the song on. I opened my sunroof, opened all the windows, and I drove up on a bus stop, and it was some old ladies at the bus stop. Yo, Bishop, when I tell you they got up and started having church right at the bus stop, I was like, yo, who's that? Who's that? I was like, yo, that's Bishop Darius Nixon.
Yeah.
Get it. Tell your kids to help you download it. Blah, 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 blah. It's just one of those type of tunes that when you hear it, and I had the privilege, and this is not even why I like it. Everybody think this is why I like the song.
I know that's why you like it.
I went to.
I know that's why you like the song. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you tell the story. Go ahead.
Birthday celebration, and you know they were doing a song live, and you know how we do in church. Bishop, you know, just did a mic toss and tossed me the mic on this particular song. I did not know it was the single, but when I heard it, I said, "Wait a minute, that's the song I just sung on." I said, "Oh, this is a hit. This is a hit." And you always say that, Bishop, that you sing a little bit at the service.
I knew what to do. I knew to throw you the mic at the service because I knew that it was gonna, you know, it was gonna be a hit. After you sang.
If they let me sing on their song, and I say something nice about it on social media, that's all it takes.
That's it. That's the only way.
Oh man! But Bishop, I had no idea that you were such a phenomenal songwriter, man. What I want to ask you, because now that we know this about you, this is something that at one time I struggled with, and I'm sure there's other people that struggle with having a gift mix, and especially when you're potent in several different gifts. How did you know how to make preaching? And I don't want to assume that preaching is your primary, but how did you know, whatever your primary gift is, how did you know how to make that your primary without feeling like you were shortchanging the other gifts that you're actually good at? How do you do that?
Well, to be honest with you, I deliberately shortchanged other gifts. I deliberately shortchanged my musical gift. I didn't want it. I didn't want
Wow.
to be bothered with that, and I didn't want to go down that street. So I did. I made preaching, as well as the prophetic ministry. Those were really my primary gifts for a very long time, and that's what everybody really knew me as, is Prophet Nixon, and the preacher, and things of that nature. And that's all I did. That's what I poured myself into. Um, but again, I was sharing with a pastor some time ago, that I was covering at the time. I was sharing with him because he was struggling with, he was more musical than preaching, and he didn't know how to transition from behind the
Wow.
organ to the pulpit. And I said to him, you're a phenomenal songwriter, so you can be a phenomenal preacher. And I didn't even know that I was talking to myself. I said, you can be a phenomenal preacher because you're a phenomenal songwriter. And he said, I don't understand that. I said, well, you write songs, don't you? He said, yes. I said, then you can write a sermon. I said, because that's all we're doing. We're just preaching through
Right.
different forms. Some preach through music. Some preach through the spoken word. Some preach through the dead. There are so many facets to which
Wow.
we can preach. And I think what's happening in today's time, Pastor, if I can say this, I think what's happening is that we're losing the essence of ministry because we're forgetting that we're preachers and we are conveying messages. And not just those of us who are in the pulpit, but even those who administrate in the pews, in the various areas of our churches that we appoint. Everybody's preaching. And if we just understand to channel that premise
Right.
to everything we do, I think we'll be absolutely fantastic. The reality is that Determined to Win
Really?
is a sermon. If you listen to it, if you listen to the words, it's
Wow.
just me
That's
preaching.
powerful.
It's just me preaching. It's just a message. That's all. It's just a message. So if we convey a message in all that we do, I think that we can be excellent in all that we do. So music ministry now, everybody knows. To be honest with you, I wasn't supposed to be leading the
I was
song.
supposed to be
I'm going to
leading
be
you. Tell the
honest.
truth.
I wasn't supposed to be.
My God.
I was, but I'm gonna tell you, I wasn't supposed to be leading the song, and I had actually um, contracted someone to come in and do the song for me, and because I didn't want to really, I'm not doing this project to promote me. This is really for all of the musical talents that are in
Excuse
my
me, Bishop.
church. I
I'm
have so
calling my
many of
assistant
them.
to see if she got that call.
And she got that call.
Right.
She didn't get it.
I didn't get that call.
She didn't
Go
get that
ahead.
call. She didn't get that call. Something actually happened. An emergency actually broke out with the person, and they were unable to come during the time where we were recording it. Now, we were going to reschedule it, but my Bishop Hezekiah Walker, had us under the gun to get this song ready
Yes.
for
Yes.
Pentecost Sunday. And so everybody in the studio was like, Bishop, you just got to do it. You got to do it. And so finally I gave in. It took me a whole day to give in, and I finally gave in, and that's
So
how I
why
ended
don't
up
you
on the
like
scene.
singing, Bishop? Because you can actually sing. A lot of y'all don't know. Bishop is on one of my records. He laid me out because it wasn't. And I want to get this straight publicly. David Caton.
Oh, don't you put David King in
David
this.
Caton was the producer of the record. I had Bishop singing on it as well as narrating, but David Caton.
Now tell the whole story. Tell the whole story, because the reality was you only brought me in to narrate, which I was fine with. While I'm in the booth narrating, I had done my part. I was done grabbing my things, getting ready to leave the booth, getting ready to leave the studio. You said to me, Nixon, just tag it, just sing a little bit. I said, Jason, I don't want to sing on the thing. I don't want, no. This man carried on to get me to sing on the thing. So when when the song is released, I'm expecting to hear myself singing. and all I hear is myself narrating.
It
I
was
said, now
David
you know
Caton. It
what?
wasn't me. It was David Caton. But Bishop, and everybody that comes on my show, I play a game with them. And the game is this. No.
Oh,
This is gonna be good. Trust me. When you hear,
oh,
I'm gonna
Lord
say
Jesus.
some words, and you tell me which one you prefer, and tell us why. Are you ready?
I don't know.
No, this is good, Bishop. This is good. This is
I
good.
don't like
This
surprises.
is
Let me
good.
just tell
Are
you.
you ready?
Oh, God.
Okay.
Let's see.
Affirmation.
Now
Yes.
I can say
Yes.
stop
Yes.
at any time, right? Oh, amen. Okay. Or
Affirmation
pass.
or accomplishments. Which one do you prefer?
Affirmation, affirmation, or
Yes.
accomplishments. I don't see the
Okay,
separation.
that's good.
Yeah, I don't see the
The reason why
separation
I asked
between
you
the
that is
two.
because some people are affirmation junkies and they do things
Hmm.
or like to look like they're doing some things sometimes. We live in a very ostentatious generation where a lot of people look like there's something that they're really not, instead of actually accomplishing something. And most people don't understand, when you really accomplish your assignment, the affirmation will come with the accomplishment. So the fact that you said you don't see the two,
Yeah,
that's
I
good.
don't see the difference. I agree with what you just said there because sometimes the accomplishment of a thing is the affirmation in itself, but then there are other times where you are pushed into accomplishment because you've been affirmed. Um, but here's another challenge. We have to stop looking to be affirmed by
Yes.
peers.
Yes.
You know, peers are incapable of affirming. They're
Wow.
incapable of
Why do you say that?
affirmation.
Why do you say that?
We well, because the the idea is to reach a level you've
Mhm.
not been before. Your peers
Right.
share the level with you. That's why they're your peers.
Mhm.
We're on the same level. You can't affirm me from a place that I'm trying to get to. You can what you're doing is
Wow.
complimenting me from a
Okay.
place where we are.
That's good.
You're able to
That's
compliment me,
good.
but you can't affirm me. So I need somebody higher than I to affirm and to bring me up
That's
to
so
that
good,
next
Bishop.
level.
Next one. Security or
Yeah.
significance.
Again, I don't see
Okay.
separation.
Um, Financial gain or future potential. Would you do stuff like, what I mean by that is a lot of people do things, especially now, for or have money as the motive versus
So you're saying not when you say future potential, you're talking about the potential of an
yes.
opportunity later on down the line. Oh,
Okay.
I definitely would choose that.
Tell us why.
A slow nickel beats a
Say
fast
that one
dollar
more
any
time,
day.
Bishop.
A slow nickel beats a
Now
fast
what?
dollar any day. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes financial gain is a
Mm,
one-time deal, it's a one-shot deal. But future potential can produce residual income.
wow. That's powerful.
And some people cut throats just
Mm,
for one check. When if they work cohesively together, they can build something that would pay everybody
wow.
for the long haul.
Okay. Quantity of life versus quality of life.
Oh, quality over
Mm,
quantity any day.
why?
Quality over quantity any day. Um, because man that is born of woman is of a few days, and we don't know how few those days are.
Full of
Those
trouble.
days are full of trouble. But if I can make the days that I'm here of a great quality,
Wow.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I'm not promised 100 years. And I don't even know if I want 100 years, to be honest with you. But I want the years that I
Good
am here
years.
to be good
Powerful.
years.
The last one, Bishop.
Yeah.
Acceptable or excellent?
Give me a little more for
Um,
acceptable.
Something that's average. It's okay.
Oh, well,
Okay.
we got to go with excellent. We got to go with excellent over average. Yeah, you got to. I always believe that, and again, average is
Hmm.
average on any level. Excellent is excellent on any level. Just be excellent on your
I
level.
train my church and my leaders that if your excellence has an off switch, it's not excellence. You got to be on at all
Yeah,
times.
yeah, it's good. You got to be excellent on every level, and not excellent in comparison to somebody
That's
else's
so good
excellence.
because comparison kills.
See comparison. See, first of all, you and I are not in the same space. We're not in the same stage, so you can only aspire. I think
Yeah,
I've been pastor 17 years, and you
seven,
guys just
7 years.
celebrated how many years? Right. So you can
Right,
only aspire to what you may have
right,
seen us do in our church, and as well as myself with somebody
right,
else's church who has a longer tenure, and
right,
perhaps even a bigger budget. You know, but
right.
we can't compete. But what we can do is be
That's
excellent
so
on our
good.
level.
That's so good. So Bishop,
Yeah.
I want to just thank you for taking time out. And before you go, I want to give you a few minutes to address the climate of what we're seeing in the church as far as the change in church and how you as because you're young but you have a very old soul and you have wisdom beyond your years. Just conversating with you, a lot of you guys don't know I call Bishop my life coach because there's been several times that you know he has talked me through some really difficult situations in my life, and I call him
Lord
my life
Jesus.
coach as a result. Because I think everybody needs accountability partners and people that don't care. That's one thing about Bishop Nixon. If you close to him, he don't care nothing about your gifts and talents more than you being integral. He's gonna tell you what other people are scared to tell you, and he's gonna cut you quick. But he's gonna do it with love, and I've grown to respect that and value that in our brotherhood and our friendship because, you know, with the change in church that's going on, he just had to check me about something the other day. He said, "Listen, Jason, you leave that for these young boys." I'm not gonna say what it is because I don't want to start no ruckus. But I'm sitting there looking at him like, "Is he really talking to me like this?" And he's saying it with a straight face, like, "Listen, leave that alone. You're too old. Stop it." And I'm hollering on the inside, but you know, I appreciate that. So how do you keep a grip on being relevant with everything that we see changing in church? And how do you suggest that people that are coming up behind you hold on to the foundational truths of the gospel but still remain relevant? How do you suggest we do that?
But before I begin, let me just say hey to everybody who's watching. I see them
Hey,
commenting, saying hello to us. So I just wanted to stop um, our conversation, just say hey to everybody, and God bless you all, and thank y'all for supporting what we're doing. We're determined to win, and keep supporting Pastor Jason, his radio show. Let me say this to you, Pastor. I think that relevance is tied in the essence of your call. I don't think that God calls us to be irrelevant. I think that if you stay true to what you're called to do, you'll always be relevant. There's always a
it's
need
powerful.
for you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, why would God call you and there's no need for you?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Why would God tell Noah, build an ark, if there
Wow.
wouldn't be a need for one? Now, there wasn't a need for one for 100 years, but after those years were past, when those years had fully come and the ark was completed, then the work made sense. I think too many of us try to conform to something that we're not, and just to try to make something work. And I think church is fine.
Right.
Now, people are not fine, but
Right.
I
I
think
agree.
the church is fine. I think the church is in a great place. Now, the
That's
people
a whole nother
are
story.
not in a great place. There's some major challenges and some major
Right.
issues, but there's always been. And if we would just resort to our word and just read the word, we will see at the many times where God had to sweep his church. And God had to clean his church, and God had to, both Old Testament and New, and God had to clean, and he had to do a sweeping, and he had to do a mass exodus, and one generation had to die in the wilderness before the next generation could go into the promised land. Like God, everything that's wrong, God makes right. And sometimes even the people who seem like they're attacking the church might be employed by God to help clean.
That's good. That's good.
Because what it's doing is, if you, without calling any names or any shows or anything like that, but there are certain things that are going on right now that's making leadership second guess their choices, not think that they are untouchable. We don't like the vloggers and the bloggers. We don't like it because of what they expose and what they bring out, but it is kind of helping us keep them hands clean. It's kind of bringing us into another level of consciousness, because sometimes, and accountability, because power does go to the head, and we become drunk with that power, drunk with the attention, drunk with the notoriety, and everybody wants to get to certain levels of ministry. But I think if you be true to what you do, and be true to who you are, and be true to what you're called to do, I think that you can do well, and you'll always be relevant for your clientele. I know what I'm called to do, Pastor, and I'm not changing that to adjust to somebody's changing of the times. The church has been fine for years and for centuries. The church has been fine. And what I know church to be, it may mean something different to this new age. Well, then they'll go and find a new age leader that can accommodate them and can give them what they need according to their palate. And I'm fine with that. And I can still connect with that leader and love that leader and work with that leader, because, watch this, your clientele is not my clientele, but when we come together, we can win the city. If we just stop fighting one another for relevance, for relevance points. There are no points for relevance. Just be you. Just do what you do. Stay true to this. Stay prayerful. Stay vigilant. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. I don't know why we keep forgetting these scriptures. I'm not against you. I'm not. You're not my opponent. The scriptures are clear that my adversary, my opponent, is the devil, Satan, the devil, and he is a liar, and he is a deceiver, and he sits amongst the brethren to sow seeds of discord. Somebody's gotta pinpoint this. I can't get in my pulpit and preach against the church of jeans and sneakers, because the reality is that in another 2 weeks, my church will become the church of jeans and sneakers for the summertime. I can't preach against that. I can't preach against churches that do things a little differently from the way I do it, because that's a seed of discord. And it's also a sign of insecurity. When you're not secure and you're afraid that people in your church are going to get up and leave and go down the block. Well, anybody who could get up and leave and go down the block didn't belong to you no how. These are the Lord's people. And I'm confident that 17 years ago, the Lord called me to begin this church. He called me to begin this work. 27 years ago, at the age of 13, he called me to preach this gospel. And I've been preaching for 27 years. I've been pastoring for 17 years, and I have not turned back. Wanted to, I haven't quit. Wanted to, but I've hung in there. I've stayed in the race, and I have seen people come by the multitudes. I've also seen them go for various reasons, Pastor, but I kept going, and I'm still going, and I will continue to go. So I encourage you to do the same thing. Don't be moved by the numbers, because numbers don't speak to ministry. Numbers don't speak to ministry. Sometimes you can have 20 people because you're still in a practice mode. You know, God is still preparing you for the droves and for the multitudes. Sometimes we don't have multitudes because
Right.
we're not ready for them. You know, we don't have different things set up in our ministry
Right.
to house them. You
Yeah.
know, where will they go?
Right.
You know, what will they do? Nobody wants to just sit in
Yeah.
a church and
Yeah.
be bored, you know. So when you create those avenues,
That's
then more people
crazy.
can come. So I say to you, Pastor, and to those that are listening, whether you're watching us live or whether you are listening to the replay, you know, if you are who you are, you don't have to feel pressured to change who you are, to accommodate a clientele that may not be meant for you, and to try to create an ambiance and an atmosphere that may not be conducive for your
To you.
ministry. Be you. Stick to what you do. You know, determine to win is not, you know, just to go back to it, determine to win is not what we would consider today's music. Um, to a degree, you know, it will probably be considered, you know, a little old school, a little dated.
Absolutely.
But it's what we do.
Absolutely.
That's how we have church. It's how we have church at our church. And let me tell you something. If you stick to what you do at your church and in your house, let me tell you something. People have no other choice but to get with it because it's the true sound
Yes.
of your house. I'm not trying to produce anything else other than the true
I
sound
think
of my own
when
house.
when you really find your specialty and partner that with discipline, that's when you find success. Because I've been putting out music, Bishop, since 2003, and this last record that we put out, Because You're Great, is the first record all those years, all those albums to hit the charts. And it's an old school churchy
Hmm.
song. And I said, you know what?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
tried and I dipped and I dabbed and, you know, tried to do other genres of music, but I'm apostolic church boy. and, and
Right, right. You got
yeah,
what's in you is gonna
yeah,
come out of you, Pastor. I mean, I don't know what in the world, what would make a person, and I know what it is. You know, we chase the money or the promise of money
mhm,
in that crossover, but everybody's not
correct.
meant to do a crossover. Everybody's not meant for that. And I'm gonna tell you, the Sunday church is
Yeah,
looking for Sunday music, and they can't find anything to date, that could really work
yeah,
for a Sunday morning service, and
right,
that's in certain
right.
churches. That's not for everybody. I'm just saying there's certain churches that are looking for
Hmm.
that choir music, and today's time we only see a certain genre of music being produced because everybody's trying to find that niche and that crossover and that, you know, but not everybody
That's
is
right.
meant to produce that sound. Stay true to what, you know. I often refer to Bishop Walker because, um, you know, Love
Yeah,
Fellowship, and you know this, you
yeah.
you were a part of Love Fellowship, the music ministry as well as the church. You know this. Bishop is
You
a
don't move.
stickler for
Yeah, no,
that sound, and he's not
at
budging.
all.
When I tell you, Bishop is not budging from that sound, okay? And if anything else is
He's like,
going on,
yeah. He's like,
it's unacceptable.
he can't tell you what it is. He's like,
Unacceptable.
but something
And
ain't
it
right over there.
works.
Yeah,
And it works. And it works. And every year, we see people come from near and far to his
mhm,
resurrection celebration. And at some point in that service, I mean, he brings different types of artists in. They sing different types of music, but at some point in that service, the Love Fellowship
it really
sound is going to
does.
hit that room, and you're seeing people. It you have to acclimate
Oh yeah,
yourself to the atmosphere, and a ballroom filled with thousands of people
yeah.
explode in praise, not because it's the best sound in the world,
That
but it's
sound.
their sound. And when you stick to what you do,
That's so good.
it has to work.
You
It
don't
has
know
to
how
work.
much you have helped. I'm looking at all the comments. You are helping so many people, Bishop, and I could talk to you all day long, man,
Wow.
because you're just one of those type of people that always has something powerful to say. But if people want to connect with you, Bishop, give us your how do they get in contact with you, and what's the name of your church, man? We got one of your elders on here. We better shout out your
Ah,
church. She from Glorious.
You better believe it. Let me tell you something. There's a few
Yeah.
of my saints on here that go to our church. And we are the Inner City Prophetic Ministries. God gave me that name, the Inner City Prophetic Ministries, and we are currently located at 167-04 108th Avenue in the heart of Jamaica, Queens, New York. We gather 2 days out of the week. That's Fridays at 8 p.m. We begin with prayer around the altar and praise and worship, great pastoral chat and teaching on Friday nights. And then we also gather on Sundays at the 3 p.m. hour. 3 p.m. And it's an unusual time, but God gave us that for this season, and it has been incredible. I first thought, Pastor, again, it's talking about staying true to who you are and what you do. I'm thinking, Lord, 3 o'clock. He said to me, 3 o'clock. I said, there ain't nobody coming to church until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There's no way I'm gonna lose all the saints and this down there. Our church has grown tremendously doing it, because when you follow God and when you do what you're called to do,
Right.
it has to work, Pastor. So that's how they can get to us in the City Prophetic Ministries. Fridays at 8, Sundays at 3 p.m. And also they can connect with me on DariusNixon.com. I have so many people ask me, how can we book you? How can we get you to come? You can just go to DariusNixon.com and there's a booking request form, and do that, and our staff will correspond with you. And I'm on Facebook, of course. I'm on Instagram, Darius Nixon Ministries. I'm also on Twitter, Bishop_D Nixon. And so it's just great stuff, great stuff. And I'm glad to have been invited to come on and to share with your program. It's just a joy to be able to share what's on my heart and what's also on the heart
Well,
of God for his
ladies and
people.
gentlemen, that is Bishop Darius Nixon. We call him the preaching machine here in Brooklyn. And
Oh,
we are
Lord.
live here on the Faith Expression Gospel Radio program. And I want to give a big shout out to my program director, Phoenix, for creating this platform for us. And I want everybody that does not have this single yet, we're getting ready to play it. When we go off when we end this segment of the show, we're going to play Determined to Win. But I want everybody to go get Bishop Darius Nixon's new single. Is going to bless you. I love it. I listen to it at least twice a day, especially when I'm driving late at night,
Wow.
because it helps keep me up, because I tend to fall asleep sometime late at night. So I had to find a song that keeps me up, and that song just keeps me up, man. And we're looking forward to the rest of the album. And Bishop also has a book out. This guy is just a tremendous gift. I taught from Bishop Nixon's book for 3 months here at my church. 3 months. And it
Wow.
jumpstart your day.
Jumpstart your
And we
day.
tried to shake that thing, man.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get out of it. I was stuck in that book for 3 months, and it blessed our church. We had about 4 entrepreneurs be birthed from that series, Jumpstart Your Day. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Wow. Listen, man, it's a special message for all of us for every day of the year. And I encourage anyone who just needs that motivation and that
Get it.
inspiration, that kick, for every day of the year. There's a message there, and you can download it, you can get it, you can order it. It's really a blessing, and it has blessed so many people. And
Yeah.
thank you for mentioning that, Pastor. Sometimes we
Oh, yeah.
forget we
Yeah.
forget the work when you
Yeah.
move on to another project. You forget the work, but absolutely, it is a blessing, and I encourage everybody to get it. Thank you all so much again for supporting Determined to Win. This record, when it drops, all of it is going to drop in October. I'm thinking that I may drop another single from the record in
Nice.
the month of August. We have some wonderful people on the project. Our church has
Gifted
been
singers,
blessed,
man.
Pastor,
Yeah.
with some great
Woo.
gifted singers. I mean, really,
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah.
seriously gifted singers. And we're going to be highlighting them. Also, evangelist Timothy Figueroa is going to also be on there and singing. and it's just going to be an amazing record.
Don't
I don't
tell
want
it
to
all,
release too
Bishop.
many
Don't tell
names,
it
but
all.
I'll release another. I'm not going to tell it all, but I'll release another single in August. We're going to release another one in August, and then the entire project in October for our 17th church anniversary.
Good.
So it's going to be an amazing time, and I'll
I'll
keep you
definitely be
posted
there
with
when you
everything, man.
release that. You got to come back on the show and
I'll
come on
touch the
here,
mic to you one
and
more
I'll
time.
co-sign that one too. Let me tell you something. And as we get off the air, I want to publicly thank you, Bishop, for always supporting what I do. Even if Bishop Nixon can't be there physically, I just know it's coming. He always, for years, have been a tremendous supporter of mine. So I appreciate you, man, and thank you again for coming on Faith Truth. And Bishop, as we go out, I want you to introduce your song because we get ready to play it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited for you to hear it. If you're hearing it for the first time, please make sure you go and download it. This song is an amazing introduction to your winning season. It's your winning season. Featuring the sounds of the city is the Bishop's Choir singing behind their bishop.
Once again,
Determined to
guys,
win.
you are
God
listening
bless you.
to Faith Expressions Gospel Radio with your boy Jason Hendrickson, and here it is, Darius Nixon's new single, Determined to Win. God bless you. We'll see you next time. Peace.
You've been listening to Face the Truth with Jason Hendrickson, heard each Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Mountain, and 6 p.m. Pacific on Faith Expressions Gospel Radio. And now, here it is, the premier single from Bishop Darius Nixon and the Sounds of the City, Determined to Win. He is the pastor of Inner City Prophetic Ministries in Jamaica, New York.